right, Shalom. Before I start, I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah Korash, to honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all the elect Akim Wa Akwath, learning, teaching, and truth and sincerity. This is going to be another video through the Spirit. All right, and for this one, I actually became aware of this clip by way of the brother out of LA, the brother Michael Allah, you know, GMS Motivation and Inspiration. I found this clip off of his video, and I'm going to play the same clip. You know, you can type in Roland Martin and white nationalist Richard Spencer, and this interview will come up, you know, it's from 6 years ago. And this is to go you the mindset of this devil. See, Esau doesn't want to accept the fact that all he ever was a piece of shit, and all he ever will be is a piece of shit. He's trying to create a fabricated false world where he is the good guy and he's great, but he's not. He doesn't want to accept that everything that he has came by way of lying, robbing, murdering, and stealing. All right, and that us, the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, we are the chosen people. We're the ones who do the greatness in the earth, and he is simply the asshole who has us in captivity. All right, so let's let it play.
You dance around it.
I'm being honest.
No, I got you.
Of value?
I got you.
Yeah.
But, well,
I'm not going to lie to you.
No, that's fine. But I still got to go back to this here. So, are you a white supremacist?
No, I'm not a white supremacist. Absolutely. White supremacy means that a white person would want to rule over other people.
So you don't want to rule over other people?
I absolutely do not. We've had white supremacy in our past, whether you think of imperialism, slavery, colonialism. That's been a disaster. So no, I don't want to go back to that.
So what are you trying to go? So what are you saying? Because in your video you said we don't need them, they need us. Who's they?
Yes.
Who's they?
The white people ultimately don't need other races in order to succeed, in order to be ourselves. Absolutely not.
So how do you think America became the greatest economic nation without?
Not through black people.
Oh, it wasn't? It wasn't because of free labor?
Are you talking about slavery?
No, I'm talking about slavery and also what happened after slavery, which Douglas Blackburn talked about, slavery by another name. So I'm trying to understand, when you say didn't need it, how do you think America became the greatest economy that it did? How do you think that happened?
Through the genius of Europeans.
How was it the genius of Europeans when the fact of the matter is it was actually King Cotton that supplied the economic means for America to do so? And that was a result of free labor from black people.
Look, the whole point here is that who creates these systems? Who creates these business models and businesses?
Slavery was a business model?
Well, yes, it was a business model,
And was that one that you like or dislike?
I dislike.
You dislike?
Yeah, I absolutely reject it.
Okay,
yeah.
so but you deny the reality, though.
No,
that's what allowed America to become the economic power, because America supplied 91% of the world's cotton, and so as a result of that, that's how America was able to fund the Industrial Revolution. It was because of free labor from black people.
The Industrial Revolution originated in Britain, and it originated in the countryside of Britain, where there were absolutely no slaves.
I said the money generated from that. But I asked you again, okay? You said we don't need anybody else.
No.
But the reality is, America history proves you wrong. The fact of the matter is, there is no great America. You can't sit here and talk about that greatness without other people making that happen.
We could have figured out another way to pick cotton.
Who?
I mean, white people could have figured out another way to
Y'all tried
get
that, didn't work. Yeah, I mean, we
do it now. We've done it previously.
I don't know what books you read, but no, that's actually not what happened. But you said y'all would have figured it out, but you didn't.
Look, African slavery was an absolute disaster, socially and morally. I reject it. Okay? In terms of the 20th century, when America rose as a geopolitical power, when we had the great...
So, you know, I'm just pausing. So y'all caught all that. He basically wanted to do, in his mind, the white man is great and mighty and they can do it all. But what he doesn't realize, or want to accept more rather, is that his people have gone around killing, kidnapping, and stealing. All right, he did. Hey, like he said, you know, he tries. Oh, who created the majority of major inventions came about by way of us, the Israelites. All right. Simply put, the so-called white man takes credit for everything and threatens people with death when he comes across their inventions. All right, and that's documented, you know, all around the way. Let's get Jeremiah 50. And I know we'll have to go look at that word as well. Jeremiah 51 and 19. It says the portion of Jacob is not like them. It says Jacob, not Edom, not the white man, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. We are the standouts. We are the special ones, not no low-bred bitch. Edom. All right, you fuckers can't eat, man. Come on, man. Says, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name. Yahweh B'Hashem, Yahweh Shai of hosts is his name. All right, so we're going to go look at that word former in the blue letter, and y'all should already know what it is. So we go take a look at that word former. All right, just to block that out. You know, he's saying, oh, white people have come up with everything. No. All right, well, white people have done, the only thing Esau has invented is methods of killing people in mass. That's what you guys are good at inventing. You're good at coming up with ways to kill shit tons of people, whether it be quick or slow. All right, by way of all your, you know, all the bullshit that you have injected in society now. All right, you look at that word former, yatazar, to form, to fashion, to frame, of human activity, of divine activity, of creation, of original creation, of individuals at conception, of Israel as a people. All right, we are the ones who originate the great things in society, not only in modern day times. All right, well, you know, the slaves and many of, you know, the Israelites around, you know, during the slavery period and, you know, Jim Crow era, you know, civil rights era, many, not only did we create inventions in that time that are used all throughout today, you know, stoplights, refrigerators, you know, the self-oiling trains, whatnot, cotton gin. But we created things in the ancient world, which is why the heathen always wanted to have us in slavery, because they knew that if they could control us, they would rise to power. That's why you go to, you know, this is, you know, basic scriptures, but you go to Exodus, and what do you see? Exodus 1 and 8. It says, now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, and let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply. And it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. So here it is. This is dealing with, you know, the Egyptians, out of fear for what we might do and how great we are, they decided to make our lives hell. It says, therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasured cities, Pithom and Ramses. All right. So, hey, we did great contributions in the ancient world, which is all that magnificence you see in Egypt. That would have been built by way of us during slavery. Okay. The majority of it. Whether motherfuckers want to admit it or realize it or not. We have done much of the great, you know, things on planet Earth. The only issue is that history has been whitewashed by who? The white man, because he is the one that goes around doing what? Isaiah, not 14, Isaiah 10. All right, the white man can't do anything on his own, nor is he great. Everything that he has stolen, and he takes that valor and erases and rearranges history to his benefit. Isaiah 10 and 13, for he saith, by the strength of my hand have I done it, and by my wisdom, for I am prudent. And I have removed the bounds of the people. It's like, hey, y'all, I'm in traffic. And I have removed the bounds of the people, and have robbed their treasures. And I have put down the inhabitants like a valiant man. This is how Esau has become great. He has robbed the treasures of the people and put them down. And that guy didn't want to admit it. He wanted to sit here and pretend like America didn't become great off of slavery. Like what? Like that's, nigga, that's preschool knowledge. All right. And like Roland Martin said, because the Edomites said, well, we would have figured it out, but you didn't. You didn't figure it out by any other means. You figured it out by making us your slaves and having us do everything for you. You didn't, even still to this day, you can't figure out any other way than to be a thief and a robber and a killer and a liar. All right, you're not a good person. The scripture says in Genesis that, you know, E is a vagabond. You know, the spirit of Cain is a spirit that is an E, but you know it goes down to, let me just get it. Esau Edom, the only thing he is good at doing is rolling around and killing shit, just like Cain. All right, and I got another clip as well. Genesis 4 and 12. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. Right there. So this already goes to show you, you know, this man's cursed from the earth. One of the reasons why he does, you know, have to enslave us is because he is rejected by existence. Therefore, he has to make use of us to make things work. All right. A whole liar, bro. This dude is sitting here. Oh shit. You know, sitting there trying to pretend like they're such good guys. But this is classic E. He doesn't want to acknowledge his history, and he wants to try to pretend like he's great and a royal and a regal entity, and he's not. He's a caveman. He's a beast, and we're gonna go get that as well. All right.
In terms of the 20th century, when America rose as a geopolitical power, when we had the greatest economy in the world, and so on, that has nothing to do with slavery.
So you say we don't need anybody else, okay? But the fact of the matter is, people of color not going anywhere. So what is your vision for America? That is white land and the rest of us can leave?
I think that white people, Europeans, formed the core of American identity.
So why don't you go back to Europe? You keep saying European.
I just said being a European isn't just a plot of land. Being a European is about blood and spirit. These people formed the core of American identity. What it means to be American is ultimately what it means to be a white person here.
How so? Because
we are essential.
Because the reality is here. Dr. King talked about,
and I want to maintain that.
And ultimately, you know, fuck some Dr. King. You know, so.
Dr. King talked about it was black people who actually made America.
I mean, you know, I give he's making his points, but you know, we don't support no MLK over here. But you see this Edomite's delusion. You see that he doesn't want to deal in reality because it's too shameful. All right, that's the devil for you. Now let's go get a sneak peek at real cracker history.
Documents, you guys, some of the documents showing the white races of Europe. And we can get a better perspective as to who the Moors were fighting. These are the albinos and the beasts of Europe. And the Moors were fighting these people for hundreds of years prior to the so-called transatlantic slave trade. And one interesting thing I wanted to show you is that when you look at these beasts and albinos, and how they have achieved what they've been able to achieve. Show you guys some slave trade. These beasts and albinos, and how they have achieved what they've been able to achieve in just a few hundred years.
And the only reason why he's been able to achieve what he has is because the Heavenly Father has allowed him to gain control of the world to fulfill prophecy. And in the same way he allowed him to gain control, he's about to lose control. The white man is not great in any aspect. It was simply given to him to rule over. And that's where he gets it fucking confused. You know, manifest destiny went to his head. Matter of fact, I'll get this real quick out of Daniel. All right, see, Esau thinks because he rose up out the cave and put together airplanes, you know, that he's somebody, but he's not. It's all a big setup. Daniel 4:17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basest of men. So right there, Esau is the basest. He's simply been set up to fulfill prophecy. And the same way that he was set up is the same way that he's going to fall, because his fall is prophesied, and he doesn't want to accept that. But hey, too bad.
Show you guys, and they had no last names, keeping in mind that they were considered wild men just a few hundred years. Keeping in mind that they were considered wild men just a few hundred years ago. And they had no last names. Many of them didn't even have first names. And I wanted to show you this because I found this very interesting. If you see here the wild men, and you look at the clothing that the people are wearing to the left, you can see here they're wearing this clothing to cover up their hairy bodies. So I found that very interesting. And something else I found in the British Library was one of the oldest genealogy charts, one of the first ones made for white people. And as you can see at the bottom of that genealogy chart, you see 2 wild men. So they're showing that their ancestry comes from the caveman. So that should give you something to think about, considering that just a few hundred years later, today, we have people like the Queen of England who claim to be of the royal bloodline of Egyptians and Cushites who ruled the earth. They even found the remains of a boy who was buried at Stonehenge in Europe. He was buried in Europe, but he actually came from the Mediterranean Sea in Africa. And he came to Europe 3,500 years ago. So that's in 1500 BC. So we're told that the Moors arrived in Europe in 700 AD.
So, now I don't know about that last part of it with that, the Stonehenge shit, but, the rest of it is pretty on point. That's the Woodwose. That's where you get the, this was E when he was in his era, when he was bugged out his fucking mind. Type in wild men attack a German tapestry. This popped up. I really like this picture. It goes to show you, the history. We were the ones ruling, and he came up with his caveman self and got to attacking us. But there's a particular picture that I wanted actually out of here. Oh, here we go. Now, of course, this is these people dressing up, but this is how Esau used to roam around with his fur and his hair overgrown. All right, the Woodwose, the wood people, the wild men. All right, this is not a myth. This is not a joke. This is fucking real. All right, and he doesn't want to. He's trying to erase that history. He doesn't want to acknowledge the fact that he's nothing. All right, and he's about to go back to being nothing. All right, let me see. I believe it's Habakkuk 2. Let me think. I believe it's the second chapter. Habakkuk 2. Yep. Habakkuk 2 and 15. Woe unto him that that's not it actually. Is it first chapter? Salakia, hang on. Okay, the verse I wanted was verse 12 specifically. There we go. It says, woe to him that buildeth the town with blood and establisheth a city by iniquity. All right, and that's what E has done with the world. He's established his greatness by way of murder and nothing else. All right, he's been allowed to develop technologies to help him kill and to put the world in fear. Anything else basically came from us. All right, and you'll shoot. I can start up at verse or go down to verse 15. Actually, it says, woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that puttest thy bottle to him and makest him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. And that's one thing, Edom, he has deceived people by way of his philosophies. He's, you turn on the television, you turn on the movie, who do you see? A white man with a fucking superhero costume on, talking about he's saving the day. Well, that's a lie. There's nothing good about this man. All right, got everybody speaking English, wearing his clothes, and thinking with his mindset. All right, that's how he's getting people drunk with his way of life. All right. But what? Verse 16. Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. And that's what he's dealing with, and he doesn't like it. Now, it's being revealed that he's a POS, and that all he's done is introduce into the world is death and decay, and he doesn't want to accept that reality. He wants to still try to prance around like he's on a horse with a sword, knight in shining armor, the amazing white man saving the day. And that's not true, and we all know it now. All right. Okay, here's what I was looking for as well. Verse 6. Habakkuk 2 and 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. And this is what E doesn't want to deal with. Now he's being reproached. Everyone's pointing the finger at him. All right. He's in debt, literally, financially. And, he's going to have to pay for the wickedness that he's done. And not in the not so distant past, and he hates it. He's gone around the whole world killing and stealing, and now he has to answer for his problems. His history is being revealed, and he wants to paint it and skate off into the sunset, and that's not the case.
Dr. Key talked about it was black people who actually made America live up to the ideals that they wrote on a sheet of paper. That there were white Americans who talked about, we want the nation.
So right there, E likes to pretend like he's great, but we're the ones who made this mug great by way of our blood and labor. So that's about it. I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all like Akim Akwath, learning, teaching, and truth and sincerity. Shalom.